And you ever try to mud a corner on drywall?
Yes.
Look, them outward corners, they ain't bad. I got a little piece. I slid across there, taped it, got it good. That inward corner on drywall, I said, Lord help me, Jesus. Every time I'd put paint on this side or mud on this side, it'd move it. It'd pop up.
And what were you created to do?
Yeah, exactly. Not just great for yourself. Like, man, I tell you what, D can beat the keys off a keyboard. Something where you can step in and say, man, this is how I glorify God. This is what I do.
This is my calling.
This is my calling. And how do you say Fayette?
How do I say it? Fayette? That's how I say it.
Fayette? I do too. But I
Val
guarantee.
says Fayette.
That's what I was going to say. I guarantee if Val comes in here, she's going to say Fayette.
Fayette.
That's like,
what's a Fayette?
That's like Talladega.
Yeah, I say Talladega.
All right, them people from that area, they say Talladega.
Talladega.
I'm like, I ain't never heard that. Dale Earnhardt didn't say Talladega.
Back row Saints where the aim is low. Boots in the dust, but a root still grow. Being broke, being bruised, but the good book stays. Got a little bit of grace in the words that we say. Choir in the front, but we hum in the back. Ain't perfect, but the shepherd don't lose his track. From the sinner's spit to the heaven's gates, we them dirt road walking. Back row Saints.
Thought about opening your own Christian merch line?
No. I just thought, well, we ain't selling no merchandise right now. Because my folks ain't hitting us up. So I was just like, well, I'm going to make something tight that I want to wear. So what you guys say about that?
I don't know. I mean, I thought our logo was pretty cool.
It is.
I like it. I think some of the merch could be maybe a little better quality. Just if I'm being honest.
What would you get that was not good quality?
No. So the stuff that you gave me, that stuff I still owe you money for,
I don't remember, to be honest.
it was like the camo shirts, the real tree.
Oh, yeah, that was things that we,
Right.
yeah, we like, at the church, we pressed.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Now, that looks good. Now, some of that other stuff, I don't know. I hadn't looked at a lot of the stuff on there. You had something, though. The hat you gave me, the black hat, it fits pretty good.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. There's like tons of different things you can choose. Like you can choose so many different brands, so many different whatever, and then you just put your logo and stuff on it however you want it. So that's what I'm saying. We just
That you talking about that site?
yeah, Printify.
Printify, yeah. Maybe I just didn't look through it enough because a lot of people have asked me, "What about a sweatshirt? How do I do it?" Like, well, it's pretty easy. You just
gotta
go
tell
in
me.
there and
I can create a sweatshirt like that.
yeah. I told them, didn't nobody listen. Somebody like I had.
Well,
somebody,
you got to tell me, and I got to create it to be a product so they can look at it. You see what I'm saying? Like we
Well,
have
I
to
mean-
create the product first, and then they can go in and choose what they would like.
But if they say I want a sweatshirt,
Yeah, you let me know. I'll create the sweatshirt and then put it on there, and then they'll go in there and buy it.
oh, well, it was an older person, and I told him, I said, yeah, there should be some sweatshirts on there.
Well, yeah, there was hoodies.
My eye twitching like a mug.
It was doing that last week. It did that little.
I know.
You got some nerd damage because that electric.
Ain't no doubt about it. Ain't no doubt about it. That sucker get to moving and be talking for me. And I try to make it quit. I think I need to get one of them monocles. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, don't come on with no monocle.
I can get a monocle and just be like, oh.
So what you been up this week?
Man, dude, you know how it is with me. I'm still working on this house.
How they going?
Crickets.
Yeah.
It's going, but man, it's just slow because, it's just Meredith and I doing pretty much a lot of the painting and stuff. The painting's kind of been slow because anytime you paint, you got to get to the root of the problem.
Yeah.
You got to, hey, that wall's messed up. Oh, well, okay. We got to sand it now. And we got to, look, I tore out a wall. I'm real good at demolition, but I ain't so good at
that carpentry
repair. And I put the wall back up. And you ever try to mud a corner on drywall?
Yes.
Look, them outward corners, they ain't bad. I got a little piece. I slid across there, taped it, got it good. that inward corner on drywall. I said, Lord, help me, Jesus. Every time I'd put paint on this side or mud on this side, it'd move it. It'd pop up. And I was like, So I just had to stop last night so I could keep my salvation intact. No, I was just like, I'm done. I stopped about 8 o'clock last night, but I've been coming home every night. And I'll do something, work on this, work on that. And Mare is a creative person. I'm not. She's like, we're going to put beadboard on the ceiling. I'm like, who? Wainscoting. I'm like, all right. And I'm like, okay, that means I got to cut more holes out of the sheetrock that's already there. We're going to lay it right on top of the sheetrock, which is good because I broke some of the sheetrock.
How'd you break some of the sheetrock?
Long story. It just it didn't like it. So, I mean, it's just it's a work in progress, but we coming through. We got several projects. We got floor sitting there looking at me, so I'll be calling you when we get that floor ready. Yeah, don't worry.
I hope it's the day I'm out of town. I'm going out of town soon. Hallelujah.
No, I'm gonna make sure that you're in town.
As long as I ain't doing school or I ain't out of town, I can be there.
No, you're gonna have to take a week off. You're gonna
can't
call in to the.
I'm on schedule, bro.
Oh, I know you are.
This school whooping me, man. Like I love it, but man, like when you at the end, you ready for that class to be over. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Is it still going good with one class a month?
Yeah, I ain't missed a month since I started. I only got like 20 classes left, so 21 months. So I have
How does that feel? 20 more months.
It sounds like a long time, but it really ain't.
No. I mean,
in 27. So it's all good.
What they gonna call you?
Reverend D. What you think they gonna call me?
I don't know. I'm gonna call you Delicious. Reverend Delicious has finished his credentialings.
Well, I mean, technically, I didn't have my credentials once.
Yeah, then they took them back.
I let them lapse.
Let me get them back.
I ain't even trying to. I think now you gotta go. I gotta take some more tests and stuff and do all that. And I gotta basically repeat the process.
So it ain't gonna happen, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I guess eventually, but I ain't in no hurry. I mean, like I'm beating the doors down.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to work on my credentials, but I'm gonna tell you something. Things are tough.
You like the rest of them folks that started Wellspring.
I never started Wellspring.
Yeah, you didn't even start though. That's good.
I knew that at this time I just couldn't. I just couldn't because I got one in college and I'm paying for that. And let me tell you something, that out-of-state tuition to all the parents out there, it ain't no joke.
Ain't no joke.
And if you ain't very wealthy or very poor, just know you finna get took.
Yeah.
If you ain't very wealthy or very poor, just know you finna pay for everything.
So has she decided? Has she decided like what she gonna do next semester? Like is she gonna?
Yeah, I talked to her today, so I don't feel like it's a secret. But she's talked to her coach, so I feel pretty confident I can say this without any kind of repercussions. But she has told her coach that she's transferring to the W.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so,
good. Is she gonna be on the team? She gonna play?
Yeah. Well, the W coach told her that he could not approach her until until she had finalized everything with that school. So she's talked with the W coach. Now he hadn't come out and said, "Yeah, we'll give you a scholarship."
Yeah, he can't really say nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I hope he's going to put some sort of package together, and we'll go from there. But yeah, she does plan to continue to play basketball, and she's going to come to the W. And
I like that better because we can go see her more.
Yeah. I mean, we got to go to 5 or 6 games, and it's a beautiful place, beautiful campus. It's just 5 hours away. Then there ain't no shortcuts. Once you get past Memphis, the mosquitoes get bigger and the roads get narrower, and that's the Arkansas Delta, baby. And then you get up in the hills of Arkansas, and it's winding. I mean, it's beautiful country. Nothing against Arkansas. My mom's side of the family's from there, but it's just a long road, and to try to get there. And she played nearly every game this year. She got some good experience, but I think I'd like to see her get in there and contribute a little more, but it's coming. Mm-hmm. It's coming. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about, what the future holds. And, I think it's a big step for her. She's been adulting pretty good. It's been funny. She'd call me, she'd text me. She's like, Dad, I ain't got no money. I'm like, I don't know what you need. Yeah. I got 5 for you.
I got 5 on it.
I got 5 on it. That's about it. I told her, she sent me a message one time, and she said, I need some money. And I sent her $10, and I said, Cash App. I said, $10 for Pink Whitney. It's some kind of, you know what that is?
No,
apparently Pink Whitney's some sort of little, some little drink or something, but she don't. Actually, I thought she would get wild and go to college, but she's,
Well, she kind of level-headed, though.
She's done pretty good. She's, at first there, I think she had a couple moments, and then she chilled out, and she's been doing good. She's been like, I called her today. She was like, I was taking a nap. I'm like, taking a nap? You don't nap in college?
Yeah, I don't ever remember napping in college.
She said, well, I got to work from 5 to 11 tonight.
Where's she working at?
Sonic. She wearing the skates.
Oh, I'm gonna be hitting the moves.
Hello, how you doing? You want some fries and long cheese coney? No, she ain't. She's working at Sonic, and she's doing the work study thing. I told her, I said, just know this. When you leave there, you better get a transfer to the Sonic in Columbus or something, because don't come home and sit down and look at me. You finna work, girl. So, anyway. So, yeah. She's going to come home Friday. She'll be coming home this Friday just to hang out for a week. That's their spring break, so she's going to hang out for a week. I told her, get ready to paint.
Yeah.
Get her and Meredith in there painting and get on it. So tell me something, D. Tonight, we're just kind of going to brainstorm about I've been chewing on this for a little while, and that's kind of my way of saying I've been thinking on it, just thinking on.
I was reading side note before you get in that.
Yeah, go ahead on.
He said something, we're reading in Deuteronomy, me and Val right now, and it says you can't eat the pig because they don't chew the cud. You ever seen that?
Mm-hmm.
I think about you every time I read that, chew the cud.
Yeah.
Like, my boy be chewing on it. And I looked up, like, kind of what chewing the cud means. It's kind of like eating or, like, marinating on it, letting it marinate and stuff. So that's just funny. I read that, I was like, Jaron up in Deuteronomy, ain't it? Chewing the cud.
I'm telling you something, though, man. I've not always been good at that, and I don't think I'm the best at it for any stretch of the imagination. But I'll tell you something, man. I learned that from my granddad. He would always say, let me think on it.
Yeah.
And I, the book of Proverbs talks about don't strike hands with any man, and come to an agreement quickly. And what I've found out is that sometimes the longer I take to make a decision, it's usually the better. Sometimes, if a car's about to pull out in front of you, you ain't got this. Them are split-second decisions, and you just say, oh, Lord, I hope it's okay. But, I mean, when you're looking at purchasing something or you're looking at, doing different things, you better think on it a little bit.
That's good.
How many times do you think people, and this is just a total side note, but I think our churches would be a lot more healthy if people would have chewed on a situation before they made a decision.
Come on now, you about to breach.
I know, because that bothers me. And
I feel like in my life, man, like I'm thinking about, like there was a time where I feel like I've been to the assembly and back and forth a couple times. I've had a couple rounds and bouts with it, and one of the times in particular, like I left because I was in this relationship, with a girl, and it didn't go my way.
yeah,
And like I was so, like I just couldn't even want to be around. I couldn't be in the presence of her. But like I just let that like dictate.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And that I really regret that, because I mean it was just a moment, man, where things could have went a lot differently over the next few years. But again, I think everything plays out for a reason, and like God used, my time at other places. But I'm just saying, it's something I think about, something I didn't really think through. I just kind of went with my emotions. I let come on now, I'm about to preach. Let your emotions
lead
me.
And I'm the same way. I look back and the time that I, because we did the same thing. We were at the assembly. While Jody was there, we were there before Jody, and we felt led to come back. We came back, we enjoyed it, and then got the opportunity to pastor. And, part of me sits back and I think, well, man, where would I be now if I hadn't have left to pastor those churches? But in the same token, I'm like you on that same train of thought, is that each place I've ventured has taught me something. Each role that I fulfilled in that season of life has taught me something about my calling. It's taught me something about I think it's honing in on what God wants me to do. And not long ago, I had an opportunity to maybe look at a church. I won't say the church because it don't matter, but a church I had gone and visited, and I talked to Jody about it, and I just felt like the assembly I didn't want to make the same mistake again. I didn't want to step away from where I feel like God has me at the assembly in this season of my life, because, I feel like there's a lot of different aspects to, like, let's take you, for example. I think you're a talented person, and there's a lot of,
that.
Yeah, I do. I think you're talented. I think there's a lot of different things you could do. I mean, you could go be a creative arts pastor.
Yeah.
You could go be a worship leader at a church. Or, I mean, you could go preach and whatever, fulfill some sort of different ministry at a different fellowship. But the truth is, one, God has you at a certain place in a certain season for a certain moment, one. And two, I think God, I guess my point is this. We could do a lot of things good, but I think God wants us to focus on what can you do to be great.
And what were you created to do?
Yeah, exactly. Not just great for yourself, like, man, I'll tell you what, D can beat the keys off a keyboard. Something where you can step in and say, man, this is how I glorify God. This is what I do.
This is my calling.
This is my calling. And I think that's where you really shine. You let your light shine for the Lord. You may be kind of dim, like for me, let's take me, for example. Like, I enjoy music, enjoy worship. I help lead worship sometimes at the assembly, help lead worship at Recovery Room, and I enjoy those things, but that's not my calling.
Yeah.
I'm fulfilling that role, and I'm not saying I think I do a good job at it.
But you have ability.
But I have the ability to do it, but that doesn't mean that's my calling,
Yeah, and the truth is, you can be good at something. Like, you can even be excellent at something and it not be your calling.
Yeah.
What you were designed or created to do.
And I put it to this. People have asked me, about, like, preaching, and I say, well, it just feels right.
Yeah.
Like when when I don't mean pastoring, I don't mean being an evangelist, I mean actually communicating from a pulpit or communicating from a, I feel like that's my gifting and that's my calling, is communicating, whether that's on a mission field, in a sanctuary, or wherever that may be. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I know that I know my niche,
Yeah.
and I know where that God is putting me there. D, let me ask you something. I know you and I have talked about this. We've talked about our calling. When do you feel like God began to speak to you about your calling? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like, it can be an age. It can
Yeah,
be.
yeah. I'm smiling because it's a complex, question. Because
It is. It's deep.
yeah, man. Because especially for somebody like me, I feel like I ran from that calling for
Yep.
a long time. So it's kind of it's different. There's been stages where I know God's called me, but then I'm run from it, and then He just like makes it even more evident. He keeps bringing it back up, kind of stuff. You know,
Reaffirms.
yeah, affirms that calling. So I feel like when I was young, like I always knew I had like leadership. Like I naturally, like I just was gifted with that. Like nothing. I don't even know why.
Yeah.
Like why you want to follow me? I ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing for nothing. But like naturally, like I could see I would do things and other people would follow, or they would listen when I spoke, or things of that nature. And not saying that again, like I ain't nobody, but I just knew that naturally was just a thing that God gave me.
Yeah.
And man, I used to hate when I was young. Like I hated it because I wanted to run from it. Like I had people speaking to my life, like, man, God's got His hand on you. You're gonna be, doing whatever, yada yada. And like I think about like Loretta, she used to say that a lot to me, like and even my grandma, like my little preacher or whatever. And Loretta would speak that into my life, like, man, you got a call, and it's evident, yada yada. And I like hearing it. Like I like the thought that, man, you think of me, like that kind of aspect of it. But I hated the idea, man, that like just having to do that. Like I hated the idea of ministry, really. If I was truthful, just because like my experience, like with church folk, like it's just not good. I don't have a healthy experience with church folk. And if people wonder why I am the way I am sometimes, it's because, man, like, I mean, you were with me through all those times. Like we just have bad experiences.
Yeah.
And even though that shouldn't have some, make us feel any type of way, it really does. And it's left a mark on my life. So it's like, why do I want to deal with these people that I know how people can be towards, ministers. I know how people can be, they'll follow ministers whenever the ministers are in the wrong. They'll do the exact opposite. The minister be the only one standing, and they'll be crucifying the minister. So like, I just don't have a good relationship there. So, but I do know young, it started as a young thing. In my teen years, it's kind of where it first started with me.
One thing that came to mind when you were talking about that, if you remember Moses as he was leading God's people from the Exodus into the book of Numbers, where he's leading them out of the bondage into the promised land. And he gets to the point where he's so frustrated. He said, God, these ain't my people. They your people. And I think that anybody who's ever led people, whether it be youth ministry or whether it be ministry as a pastor or anything really that has a form of leadership in it, that I mean, you get to that point where it's like, are y'all dumb? I had people tell me one time, and I won't say who, it ain't important, but I was counseling them, and they were having marital troubles, and they were like, we think we know the solution. I'm like, okay, lay it on me, because I'd love to hear it. And they said, we're going to adopt a kid. And I was like, are you serious?
Like
I want to be like,
where's
hey,
Ashton Kutcher? Where's he at? He finna pop
Hey,
out.
somebody
the
finna pop out and prank me. I want to be like, and they were like, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, first of all, you ain't gonna like what I got to tell you." But no, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's not gonna fix a problem.
No, and that they were sitting there arguing like, "He won't wash my clothes. She won't fix me supper." And I'm like, "Look, I mean, I understand those are frustrations. Y'all obviously are frustrated with one another. And look, it didn't take long. It didn't take long after that they decided that divorce was their best option.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hate it for them. Don't make light of it, but, their focus was in the wrong area.
Yeah.
So, but, like, I think calling is such a heavy word and it's such an emphasis on it. And I remember I got saved in 2007 and, first time I ever shared my testimony was in the Commons at a men's group at the assembly. Shared it and enjoyed it, and didn't think anything about it. And I thought, okay, that was all right. Well, as time moved on, this was probably the third or fourth time I'd shared my testimony in a different place, and then this was a church in Sturgis, Mississippi, and I came down, shared, had a person respond to the message that I'd shared. And I kind of felt a little nudge from the Holy Spirit, about that. And then a little old granny came to me and she says, the fields are white with the harvest, but the laborers are few. And you know how like in a church setting, a little small country church, everybody's going to come and shake your hand.
Yeah.
She had already shook my hand. She'd already come by and she'd already spoken to me. Well, she came back by a second time and she said those words. And I was like, okay, appreciate that. Have a good day. And as I rode home, it was like that word just kept pounding in my heart, like the fields are white with the harvest, but the laborers are few. And that's the moment that I can say that I feel like God solidified his calling in my life and saying, you know what, I didn't just save you so that you could, just be saved only. It was, I saved you and I bought you with a price, and here's what I want you to do. And I say this, D, because I really firmly believe it, that I think that's the greatest accomplishment that a person can do in their life is fulfill, or maybe not fulfill, but be obedient to that call. Kind of like that word you gave me last week on the last episode, that it's not so much about fulfillment, it's just about being obedient. God really does the fulfilling.
That's true.
It's not, I think I've had that I've had that backwards a lot of times. I think that, well, if I could just get here on this platform, if I could just get there, I mean, God, that'd be it. No, it's just be obedient to that calling and the season you're in. I don't think your calling changes. I think sometimes what that calling looks like might change.
Yeah, I think that's evident in the Bible. Like, I feel like, just take Paul's life. Like, I mean, of course, he was a missionary, apostle, was essentially a missionary role.
Wait a minute.
But
Paul was an apostle?
the Apostle Paul?
Yeah, he wasn't one of the 12, though.
Yeah, but he was an apostle.
So you're saying there's apostles after the 12?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, remember there's 70
Yeah. Hey, I'm just
or whatever.
you
just
for
you
argument's sake.
Somebody might have told you something.
Yeah.
All right.
Apostle. Dusty
anyway.
Fields.
Apostle Dusty. No, but apostle, is just a missionary. They were the same role, but we could say the apostles are like the 12 with Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short.
Yeah. Sorry.
But like it looked different, every time. Like, I mean, yeah, he kind of stayed in that kind of role of that, but I mean, there was times where he stayed in cities.
Yeah.
And he kind of took on like an overseer kind of position.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then he'll move on,
Yeah. So, I mean, he's
was
like
different.
a church planner, missionary. I mean, whatever you want to call it. It really wasn't about a title for Apostle Paul. It was just really about, what is it God's speaking to you and how is that going? So,
I mean, he was straight. We going to the Gentiles.
Yeah. So Paul had that specific target of the Gentiles. Peter had the specific target of the Jews. What would you say is yours? Specific target.
That's good. That's a good little segue right there. Like I appreciate that.
Feel that?
That's pretty good, man. Like, so first ministry I really started out in was youth, and I think that's because one, and like I helped with the youth at one of the churches I was at because I was around that age, and then the first, I guess my official title as a pastor was a youth pastor, which is whatever. So like I started there. I think a lot of people start there. It's just kind of like the natural progression for people, but I do not think that's my calling, young people.
Right. Yeah.
Like I definitely think I ain't for them. Which is good for them. Like, you know what I'm saying?
For real.
like I ain't the one. But it's definitely, man, just to I feel like my call is to the people, like just everyday church people, and in that, like specifically, I think it's like if I had like my whatever statement of truth or whatever you would call it, it's like to call people like from the mundane Christian, you know what I'm saying,
from the status quo.
to that. All right, we're gonna pick up our cross. We're gonna deny ourselves, and we're gonna go to that. That's kind of like my whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that it ain't everybody's thing, but I'm just saying that's kind of my niche, my calling. It's to the body believers. But if you're a believer that you have it all together, and you Billy Graham, and you got it all together, I probably ain't got much for you. You need to talk to me.
Benny and Billy. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that too, man. I think part of my calling is to awaken the church.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I've always felt that because I've always felt like, while I didn't have much of a church attendance type deal until I really, got saved. We were at the assembly when I surrendered my life to Christ, but, up until that point, I won't say there was a lot of church fellowship. I just went, but I do think it's important to kind of awaken a generation to see, that we're not serving the church, we're serving Jesus through the church. And as a byproduct of what Jesus has done in my life, I want to serve the church.
Yeah, it's more to, just to cap on that, it's more to just salvation. Like, it's more to just saying, all right, I'm saved and I'm going to ride this pew to heaven. That's kind of my, let's get in, let's.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got 1,001 scriptures that can combat that. Faith without works is dead is the biggest one that comes to mind. That once we get saved, that's the beginning of our salvation. Yeah, that's like the contend messages that Jody's been preaching. I think one thing that stuck out to me with that contend message that he's reiterated over and over is that bell that he's got up there, that he said that's not the end, that's the beginning. When this bell sounds, that's when the fight begins. And when we contend for our faith, and I think that's important that we just don't settle for salvation, that because we have surrendered our lives to Jesus, it says any man that has this, I can't remember how it words it, but it says he purifies himself. There's a scripture. I'd have to have it sitting in front of me, but it's that desire to be more Christ-like, and we talked about it a couple podcasts ago. But anytime we have that desire in us, it's gonna make us a better people, better person, better follower. I would say that for me, I've felt that call, I've accepted that call, and God is still. I know that I'm called to Latinos, Latin American people. God has continued.
I need that call. God loves some Mexican food.
Oh my gosh, I could eat it every day. I love it. I like it. The more strange, the better to me. I don't want.
I want Tex-Mex.
Yeah, I can eat it. Whatever. Plantains though. Just
like
okay to me. Them platanos, they're okay.
Platanos.
Platanos, that's what
I
they
ain't
call
never
them.
heard of that.
Plantain.
Oh,
Platanos, plantains.
So let me ask you this.
All right.
So do you have any people or persons that are involved in like helping develop that call in your life, or like just kind of been prevalent there?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people that have helped develop that call. Like even you and I and our friendship, the Bible says Proverbs that iron will sharpen iron. So even, I don't think it has to be somebody that you look to as necessarily a mentor, but somebody that you look to as a brother that you lead with. You know what I mean? Obviously, I think Jody has kind of nudged me toward that, and I think it's been healthy for me to hear that. It's like this, man. When I was playing baseball, when I was in about 9th or 10th grade, I was always pretty decent athlete, and I had no clue in 9th grade that I had a potential to play at the next level.
Yeah.
Nobody ever said it, and I guess I just, 9th grade, you don't think about stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I get up to the sophomore and I'm thinking, you know what? Yeah, maybe. Well, by the time I'm a junior, it's a real idea that, hey, you know what? Well, I mean, I guess I wish I would have known a little earlier. I could have maybe put myself in a better position. And again, that's all hindsight. Same way with my calling. I wish somebody would have set me down and said, you know what, man? I had, just like you, I had people speak into my life. I had people say things to me, and they were like, man, you know what? We feel like you're called. Well, show me, dude. Show me what you mean. Don't just say, hey, I think you're called. How does that look? What do I need to do? And so I think that's important. I think that's one of Jody's giftings is
he's a good equipper.
Yeah, I think he's very talented and very skilled at putting someone in the right position to develop that call in their life. And that's a gift.
Yeah.
Because not everybody has it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm going to tell you something. It has to be a person who is not eager for the limelight.
Yeah.
Because as well as I do, some people would take that as a threat and say, you know what? I'm not going to give one of these young cats this pulpit, or I'm not going to give this young person this opportunity because what if they like him more than me?
Yeah.
A lot of people are insecure about that, but I will say that for Jody, he is not insecure in that aspect. He realizes if somebody on his staff or somebody at his church wins, then it's a win for Jesus, and it's a win for the body. And I mean that's like the bigger picture. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I agree, man. I definitely agree. I think he's a good equipper, man. He's good at that part of the calling, like equipping the saints for the ministry.
Yeah,
like, he's good at that.
So let me ask you this, D. I'm gonna skip one of these steps because time's sake, and I really want to hit on this last one. Why would you say this is important? Why even talk about calling? Why even talk about where you feel called? What's the importance of it? If I'm a young man or a young woman who feels that tug on my heart, what's the importance of it?
Well, the other day I spoke, or I talked to, so I'm getting ready to, I got an 18-month plan in place, and I'm trying to work that plan to get me to a full-time ministry. And with that, I talked to Mark, my father-in-law, and just kind of
He gonna give you some money?
No, I wish, but I kind of just he's a good logical thinker. You know what I'm saying? I like that about him. He's kind of like me. He's very logical, and at the end of the day, like I feel like sometimes like it don't like, and you know this, like it doesn't make sense. In as far as like you can make a lot more money than you can in ministry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Doing other stuff.
Sure.
And like, you know, you can whatever. You put it there, there's a lot more availability to make money outside of church, because I don't think that's what church is made for. But and not saying that there's some people that make a lot of money in church, but even then, like whether that's right or wrong, we ain't get into that. But my thing is, if I was to die tomorrow, like, or let's say I knew, if I knew the Lord told me in a year from today, March the 17th, 2027, I was hitting the bucket. Like, would my last year, would I want to be spent getting people to process payments at Avid Exchange?
Mm-hmm.
Or would I want to do something that, you know, that I'm called to do, like to step into that and actually populate heaven as much as I can during that time? And that's my why.
Yeah.
Is that, man, like I'm over making money. I'm over, you know, building this, you know, American dream. I've talked about that a lot, you know, building this, you know, 2 cars, 3.5 kids, you know, kind of thing. How you get 3.5 kids, I don't know. But anyways, you know, that's the American dream. Like, I'm tired of building this, man. I want it to mean something, to like, when I hit the gates, well done.
Yeah. We talked about this, D, at the beginning of at the end, was it the end of December or the beginning? It was remember Chasing the Wind, that message that we did?
Oh, the message? It was the end of December.
Yeah, end of December. So we talked about that, and we talked about how, you know, we kind of stood and shared about what Chasing the Wind looked like. I think we've all been guilty of it before on different avenues of our life, you know, where we're chasing that new house that we think is going to bring us fulfillment. We're chasing that new car that we think is going to bring us fulfillment. Maybe even chasing a relationship that we think is going to bring us fulfillment, or a promotion. And at the end of the day, I think that's why so many people find themselves depleted and miserable, is because they're seeking life amongst dead things. Mm-hmm. They're seeking life amongst things that really, in 5 years, 10 years, and an eternity sure won't matter. But 5 years, 10 years down the road, they're not going to bring them happiness or fulfillment. And I'm reminded of that a lot in my own life. Okay, you know, I've been chasing the wind a little bit. And you know, I like, right now I'm working on this house, and it's occupying a lot of my time. And I'd be lying if I didn't say it's I won't say it's hindered my walk with Christ, but
you're so focused.
I'm so focused on this house that it's like I can't just like sit back and be like, Now there's been moments where I'm sitting back and I'm like, thank you, Jesus, because I'm thankful for this house. I'm thankful for this place that I get to call home and work on it. But at the same time, I can't lose sight of the things that I feel like are eternally important. And I think my why is this, that I could go out and search the whole world over and try to find fulfillment and contentment in the things that really don't matter. And I would be miserable, because at the end of the day, the really only things that bring me satisfaction are what I've done in Christ. The things that won't be burnt up in my life are the things where I've laid down and said, okay, Lord, this is yours. You know, you've helped this. You've helped me build this. You've helped me create this. You've allowed this opportunity to happen. I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, sitting back and saying, God, thank you for this life that you've allowed me and my spouse or me and my children to have. And it's just, you know, it's the blessings of God. They're a byproduct of following God, I guess.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's always going to look like, hey, I got them 3.5 kids. I got the house and the acreage and the car and all that. I mean, I'm driving a 2003 Tahoe that the dash don't work. When I crank it up,
when I
crank it up, it looks like Uncle Buck that smoke that comes out. Hey, them boys at work, they like clowning on me, but I don't care.
Yeah.
In a minute, that sucker cranks and drives. It's fulfilling its purpose right now. So I guess my question is, how are we fulfilling our purpose?
Well,
You know, how are we being obedient to Jesus in the calling that he's assigned us to?
yeah, and I think even for like all the viewers, man, like
All y'all viewers.
it's even like we're talking specifically from two people that are called to like ministry focus, but we're all called to ministry in a sense. It's like, dude, if you're working at Knights Environmental pumping trucks, like, you know, the people you meet day in and day out, how are you leading them or showing Christ? Or if you're a nurse, you know what I'm saying? And we hear this all the time, but I don't think sometimes it's in one ear and we just kind of like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. And I agree, but we don't actually put it into practice. And I've been thinking about that myself, like even like at the job I'm at, like Avid Exchange, like how am I affecting the people around me? Like whenever something ain't going my way and I just want to go crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? How am I showing Christ in my everyday work?
Yeah, people see us, man. They looking at us. They looking for us to break. They looking for us to, they looking and watching to see how we deal with things.
Yeah.
And I think how we deal with things really translates heavy. I've had people that, you know, have come to me at work, didn't know something that my family was walking through or something, and they're like, well, we had no idea, you know, or whatever. And you know, because of that, I think it's allowed some trust to be built, and they'll come to me and ask me different questions, and you know, I'm like, well, yeah, I don't know. And you know, it just goes to show you that people are watching.
They are.
And for the right reasons sometimes, and even for the wrong reasons. So anyway, I wanna branch out on this some more. I think there's some
My little series guy. You love a series, don't you?
I used to not like a series, but you know, it kind of keeps you focused on what's ahead.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, we can talk about whatever. We can talk about olive trees and sawgrass and whatever.
But
all
right, what revival are you going to tonight?
I'm going to hear it's at New Life Fellowship in Winfield, Alabama.
I don't know.
I don't even know where Winfield is. I don't know that I've ever
Winfield.
been.
Solid. How that way?
Winfield and Soldier ain't the same place.
It's out that way. Winfield is before Soldier, ain't it?
No, that's Vernon.
No, I guess Winfield's on the other side of Soldier.
It ain't that far, man. Hold on. I ain't trying to go that far.
I don't know. I'm telling you.
It says 56 minutes. Yeah. I can go through Fayette.
I don't know. That's all in there.
How do you say Fayette?
How do I say it? Fayette. That's how I say it.
Fayette. I do too. But I guarantee.
Fayette.
That's what I was gonna say. I guarantee if Val comes in here, she's gonna say Fayette.
Fayette.
That's like
what's a Fayette?
That's like Talladega.
Yeah, I say Talladega.
All right, them people from that area, they say Talladega.
Talladega.
I'm like, I ain't never heard that. Dale Earnhardt didn't say Talladega. He said, I'm going over race Talladega. I'm going to hit that number 3, and I'm going to hit that turn, and I'm going to wreck somebody.
R.I.P. To the greatest. I'll be watching that all the time.
I like to pass somebody with that number 3 and them angel wings on their truck. But still, I'm going to tell you something. Ain't nobody drive as hard as a number 6 VAG or Mark Martin car. He drove hard.
Shut up.
All right, then. Hey. What's our saying?
You know it.
All right. You got to get your mind right. I'm going to get mine right. I ain't going to talk about the Mark Martin part.